Hey guys, welcome back to another Discord.js tutorial. So in today's video, I'll be making a reaction role, but for this, we're gonna make it multi-guild with a database. So yeah, I've previously made a reaction roles tutorial, but it's really hard to configure with. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you guys how to make it with a database, and it's gonna be multi-guild, so you can set up in multiple guilds. Perfect. So the first thing I want to do is you want to get a models folder. So just ignore source. Okay, if you see source, if you don't have it, just ignore this. Just imagine that all these files are in the main directory. Okay, just create a folder called models, and in it you're just gonna do give away. I mean, what am I even thinking? Reaction roles. Okay, so if you haven't watched the how to set the MongoDB tutorial, make sure to watch that. It's in my channel. It's called MongoDB setup or something like that. Okay, and then if you okay, you should already have mongoose. So const mongoose equals require mongoose, and then we can do const schema equals new mongoose dot schema. Okay, and then we're gonna pass in the guild ID. I mean the guild, and then we're gonna use string. And then we're gonna do message, which is gonna be the message ID. So let's just do string for this, and then we'll just make a roles and then object. Okay, and then we can under here just do module dot exports equals mongoose dot model. I'm just gonna call this reaction roles, and then you're gonna pass in the schema. Okay, so that is for the model. So now we can actually start creating some commands, but before that, we need to enable partials or add partials. So in your index.js in your client, if you don't have this, it's okay. Just make sure, just make an object, and then just add partials, and then you should see an option like that, and then you're just gonna take in channel, then taking message, then taking guild member, then taking a reaction. Here you just need this four of these, and then yeah, we should be good to go. So just close this. Okay, and then we're gonna head on to um I'm just gonna create a new folder so you can actually see our commands easier. Reaction roles, let me just name that, and then I'm just gonna add.js and message.js. Okay, so what basically I think you guys know what is add. So basically it just adds a new role into the reaction roles database or message. It actually makes you to send a new message, and then only okay, let me just make an example. So let's say you have a channel, and then let's say this is first message. Okay, so let's say this is the first reaction role message, and then all of these reactions will actually only register in this message. So let's say you react to another message, it won't bother at all. So you're just gonna focus on one message. So let's say the channel is spammed like a lot. Maybe you lost the message or something, or you just accidentally deleted it. You can just run this command, and then you generate a new reaction roles panel, which you can just react again, and then the old one wouldn't be available, wouldn't be working anymore. So it is just generating a new reaction roles panel. Okay, and then I'm just gonna initialize the ad with this called VS Code snippets. If you haven't watched that already, make sure to watch that. It's in my I made a video on that already. So let's just require the schema. What am I even doing? Reaction roles. Let me think. Okay, so first you're gonna check. I'm just gonna set this name as add, so the command name will be add. Of course, you can change this anything you want. You can change this to reaction role add or anything you want. So I'm just gonna say if message dot member dot permissions dot has administrator return. So if the person doesn't have administrator permissions, we're just gonna ignore him, and then we're just gonna const row equals message dot mentions dot roles dot first. Okay, so for this command, we're just gonna run something like y add, and we're gonna mention the role, and then we're gonna pass in the we're gonna type in the emoji in here. Okay, so here's the structure. Okay, so let's just destructure the arg. So let emoji. Okay, let me just make it an array and then comma emoji, because this is the first argument, which is the role, so we're just gonna take the second argument. Okay, and then args. Just pass in args in here. Okay, if there is no emoji, you just do return message or reply. Please specify a emoji. Okay, perfect. And then we can do const parsed emoji equals to and then we're gonna parse the emoji. So just change this message embed, just change it to util, or you can add like something like this. Okay, you can do something like this. Okay, util dot parse emoji, and then you're gonna pass in the emoji in here. Okay, and then we're gonna search for the database. So schema dot find one guild message dot guild the ID async error data. Okay, and then we're gonna do if there is data. We're just gonna create a new object by doing data.roles. Okay, and then we're gonna do parsed emoji.name equals, and then we're gonna make an array. So you're gonna store an array in an object, and then the first thing is gonna be the role.id. Next one will be the information, the extra information. So ID will be parsed emoji.id, comma, and then raw will be emoji. Let me just do something like that, and then we can actually save it. So let me just do await schema find one and update guild message.guild.id. Oops. And then here we're just gonna do we're gonna pass in data in here, so we're gonna update it with data. Okay, so that's done. Okay, and then just make an else in here. Else if there is no data, you're just gonna do new schema. You're gonna create a new schema, and then we just make it guild will be message.guild.id. Message will be 0. Roles will be we're gonna pass in an array, square brackets, and then let me just copy this. I think it's the same way. Let me just, yeah, it should be the same. Just change this to a colon, and yeah, it should work. Okay, and then lastly, make sure to add a dot save in the new schema. As you can see here, it's connected. Okay, and then yeah, it's saved. So let me just say message.channel.send new role added. So that is it for the add role command. So now let's move on to the generate reaction rules panel. So let me just, instead of naming this message, I'm just gonna rename this to panel. So let me just change this name to panel.js. So same thing. Actually, you can just copy this because I'm lazy to type, and then I'm just gonna change the panel, and then we can just remove all of these. Okay, you need to leave the administrator permissions, but we can remove all of these. Okay, so for here, we're just gonna make it so that you can either choose the channel to message, or you can just send it in your own channel. So const channel equals message.mentions.channels the first, or message dot channel. Okay, so either you want to mention the channel and it will send to the mentioned channel, or you can just choose to send it into your own channel. Okay, and then we can do schema.find one right now. Schema.find one guild message.guild.id async error data. If there is no error, if there is no data, return message the reply no data was in here. So basically the only way there will be no data is when the guild or the admins didn't use this command to add a reaction role is just gonna send this, no data was in here, and if there's data, we're just gonna do const map equals to object.keys data.roles, and then we're gonna map it, value, I think we need index, yeah, we need index. Okay, and then we're gonna return a string. So first we're gonna actually get the role by doing const role equals message.guild.roles.catch.get, and then we're gonna pass in the data.roles, and then we're gonna pass in the value, and then we're gonna take the first one. Okay, as you can see here, because I saved it, it's the first item. That's why I did that. Okay, and then we can do, let me just do a return, and then we can pass in a string index +1. The reason I'm doing +1 because all of the index starts with 0, and if your message something starts like this, like 0, and then on the row, it looks better with 1, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna add +1. It doesn't really matter though. And okay, you can format it however you want. And then we're gonna pass in the data.roles and then value, and then the first one, and then a raw. Okay, perfect. And then we can just dash, and then we're gonna pass in the role. So we can just mention the role, or we can actually make it inside the embed. So I'll just make it inside an embed so it looks a little bit cooler. And then we can just join it, .join, and then we make it 2 spaces. Okay, why not? Okay, and then we can just do channel .send map. Let me just do new message embed. If you don't want it in an embed, okay, feel free to just make it something like this. Okay, just do this if you don't want an embed. If you want an embed, just do message embed, and then I'm going to set description mapped. Okay, and then we can just do the then then message. Okay, once we send the message, we're actually gonna get the message ID and update the database. As you can see here, this message over here, we're gonna change the ID. Okay, so we're gonna do that by doing data.message. Give me a sec. Yep, data.message, and then equals to message.id, and then we're gonna do data.save, and then we're gonna do const reactions. So now we're gonna actually react to the emojis that we have made. So object.values, okay, and then data.roles, the map. We're gonna take the val and a val 1.id, and then reactions. We're just gonna do reactions dot map, and then we're gonna react to the message by doing emoji, and then message.react emoji. Okay, so for each of these emojis, we're gonna make it react. Perfect. And then this a little typo. So fun fact about this, it actually works with custom. Let me check if I did it correct. I don't think yeah, it's correct. So it works with custom emojis. So it doesn't need to be only normal emojis, unicoded emojis. Let me see what I missed out. Okay, for the last part, we need to create an event. So I have an event handler. If you don't know what's this, feel free to watch the video. I already made a video on event handlers. Okay, so let me just call this reaction roles, and then first thing we're gonna do is const client require $index. Okay, so it's index, and then let me see. We're gonna require the schema also. On schema equals require /models/reaction roles. Okay, and then we're going to client.on message reaction add, and then a comma async reaction user. Okay, and then here we can just if reaction dot message dot partial, and then we're just gonna do await reaction dot message dot fetch. Okay, and then if reaction dot partial, and then we're just gonna do await reaction dot fetch. Okay, the basic stuff. And then if it's a bot, we're just gonna return. If you want the bot to react and get roles, feel free to remove this line, but I personally don't like bots to be able to access to reaction roles. Okay, so schema to find one. Okay, we're gonna find for the message will be reaction dot message dot id. Okay, and then I'm gonna do async error data. If there's no data, I'm just gonna return, and then we can do if let me see okay, now mind, we can just leave if there's no data, we're just gonna return, and then const row. Okay, we actually need to check whether there's data, so let me just do if there is no object dot keys, and then we're gonna pass in the data dot roles. So let me just data dot roles dot includes reaction dot emoji dot name. So basically we're not gonna check for the ID, we're just gonna check for the reaction name, and then we can actually do return. Okay, and then lastly we're gonna take the role ID. So as you can see here, I saved the role ID at position number 0. Okay, so this is number 1 and this is number 0. Okay, so we can access that by doing destructuring an array equals to data dot roles, and then we can do reaction dot emoji dot name to get the array, and then we're gonna destructure it in here, and then we can just do reaction dot message dot guild dot members dot catch dot get, and then we're gonna pass in the user dot id dot roles dot add, and then we're gonna pass in the role ID. Okay, so I suppose it's the same thing for the reaction remove, but we're just gonna change a little things. So let me just message reaction remove. Okay, and then instead of making it add, we're just gonna make it remove. So actually we can just send a message. So let me just say user dot send you have obtained a role, and then let me just do something like this in here, user send you have lost a role. Okay, I think they will work. Let me just try. Let me just okay, it works. Okay, let me just save this and let's just give it a try. Okay, so I currently have no. If I do like Y panel, okay, this is because I am testing it. Okay, let me just delete the data and let's just try this again. So this is a extension, don't worry about this. Reaction roles. Okay, so I deleted it. So basically now there is no data. So if I do Y panel, I'm gonna say no data was in here. This is because I testing it above in here. So yeah, and then we can do Y add, and then we're gonna mention a role. So let me just role 1, and then I'm just gonna use a okay, so make sure you use the guilds emojis so you can actually send. So let me just make this use this random emoji. Okay, new role added. So if I do Y panel, okay, you will see that it's actually working. So if, as you can see, I have no roles. If I react to this, I should get a DM, and I should get you row number 1. So if I remove this, I wouldn't get any rows, and then the bot would just say, you have obtained, and then you have lost a row. Okay, perfect. So we can add another role to test this out. Add, and then I'm just mention a role, which is, let me just say role number 2, and I'm just now we're gonna use a non-animated emoji, something like YouTube. Okay, y role add. Okay, and then we're gonna okay, so this is the perfect example on how to use the panel option. So as you can see here, you added a role, but it doesn't really appear here. So what you need to do is just do panel, and then it will send a new panel with the emojis. Okay, and then you can actually react. So if I react to here, I wouldn't get the role anymore, because the new panel is over here as it is updated in the command. So if I react to this, I will get the role number 2. If I unreact, I will remove the role, will be removed. If I react to this, I get role number 1, and then if I remove this, and then the role will be removed. So yeah, this is the reaction roles system. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like. I really spend a lot of time on my videos. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I really help the channel out. If you face any errors, or you just want to join in and give a suggestion, or you just want to talk, feel free to join the support channel. Links will be in the description. Other than that, have a nice day. See you again in the next video. Bye.